And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your friend, Cheap Loots. Look, I'm done talking about how negative Season 4 of NBA 2K23 my team is, at least for now. I have spent the necessary amount of energy on this horrendous season, at least the amount of energy that I would have liked to spend thus far. So, not going to talk about that anymore. It's Saturday. Happy Saturday. I feel like people don't do that. I feel like nobody has ever said happy Saturday ever. Like I at least I don't think I've ever been part of a conversation where somebody's like, yeah, have a happy Saturday. I don't know. Regardless, I hope you guys have good plans. Safe plans. Let's talk about the market in NBA 2K23. My team. Woo! I don't know why I feel the need that every time I mention that I'm going to talk about the market that I have to say the full game title, but here we are. It's dismal. It's dismal out here. I'll be honest, it's not what I thought was going to happen to the market, but regardless, let's kind of see what's up. So we'll start with the flight school guys, okay? I'll be honest, this set is, yeah, super boring. I feel like this is probably the most boring set for me personally since Ice. Like, I think Ice might have been a more boring set altogether. But, yeah, Flight School is really up there with Ice. Hey, and T-Mac's my favorite player of all time, but it's just like I just didn't care about it then. Ice is probably worse than Flight School, but let's look. First, we got Kenyon Martin Jr. All the Amethysts are like 2000 MT, by the way. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really positive about Kenyon Martin Jr. He's a 6'5", power forward, small forward, and I mean, sure, if you want to use him, cool. He might be worth picking up if you have to use Rockets players for anything. Like, it might not be a terrible idea just to pick him up because he's one of the better Rockets players that we have on offer for sure. But other than that, from like a competitive perspective, I guess, or just like an online play perspective, unless you're like a big Kmart Jr. fan, I don't think there's really any reason to pick him up. His jump shot's okay, but that's about it as far as like positive affirmations for him. He's fine, I guess. Then we got Hamidou Diallo. I actually, you know what? I had a lot of fun playing with this card. I was running some offline challenges with him, and in typical Diallo fashion, he's super fun. His jump shot's not really that great, but he moves relatively well, and he straight up booms on everybody. So, you know, for dunk-based agendas, for like an all-time Thunder team, if we ever have to do things with Thunder players, like he's worth 2000 MT for that perspective pickup. Same with Kenyon Martin Jr., but like Diallo's a little bit more fun. Like Diallo can get dunk challenges done. He's like a fun card, I guess. Then we got Juan Toscano. He plays for the Warriors, which the Warriors have had a wealth of cards this year. So it's not really, I would say, necessary to pick up Juan Toscano unless you're like a big Juan Toscano fan. And am I tripping, or is his name Juan Toscano Anderson? Like, am I tripping about that? Yeah, why is he just Juan Toscano on the card? I mean, I get it, having Toscano-Anderson on a card. That's really going to blow up the section of the card with the name, but at least be accurate about it, right? Maybe he was just Juan Toscano on the Warriors. I don't believe that's true, though. Either way, I mean, he's relatively solid. Like, once again, his release is okay. He dunks on everybody. He's okay, I guess. The Amethysts in this set were very underwhelming. Like, Diallo's fun, but other than that, meh. Then we got the Diamonds. They're all 2000 MT or below, by the way. You can get them for dirt cheap. Daryl Dawkins, okay, having Chocolate Thunder in the game is cool. And I understand there is still like a tiny sense of realism, so you can't be having my man shoot threes, but man, at least give homie like a 65 or something. He has the DeAndre Jordan release, which Greg Ostertag has. So if we ever get the updated Greg Ostertag card that I've been asking for the entirety of the year, that's not going to be a fun jump shot for me to run with. Like, he's fast, he can't move with the ball in his hands, but he's like a backdoor cut god, though. But I feel like a lot of centers are, like, from a backcourt, like a backdoor cut perspective, is he really better than someone like a Dwight Howard? No. Is there really a reason to pick up Daryl Dawkins? No. Unless you're like a big Sixers fan, you want to play with some like historical players, that's really it. No reason to really pick him up. Serge Ibaka is good, though. You can get Serge Ibaka for, last I checked, around 12K. It's probably lower by this point. And he's actually really good. His jump shot, super clean, a little bit on the slow side, but clean regardless. Like, excellent defender. He's a 3-and-D big man. He can dunk, though. Like, you want to run him on some backdoor cuts against the CPU, like, he's going to get it. He's going to get it for you for sure. Serge Ibaka's release is fun. There's nothing negative about the card. He's not obviously going to be handling the ball in any capacity, but he plays lockdown defense. He has good tendencies. And he's a really solid 3-and-D card. He doesn't have limitless range, so it's unlikely you're going to be running him at center anyway. But as like a really budget, like a super budget power forward, he's really, really solid. Now let's get to the other cards. We got Jason Richardson. Now, Jason Richardson's been updated, so that's cool. I suppose it's whatever. They gave him Devontae Cook release. Or no, I'm sorry. Devontae Cook. It's just, dude, what is his name? Who is this? Why does he have his own base? They don't even have a Devontae Cook in the game. This has to be Devontae Cook, right? Like, am I tripping? Is this a real person? Hold on. Like, we need to figure this out. Like, I have no choice. How do you even spell this? Okay. Yeah, I have to find out. No, this is a real dude for sure. But he doesn't even have his own base. He's a G League affiliated Spurs player. Okay, very interesting. Anyways, the release isn't half bad. Jason Richardson's just like not very good. He's going for under 30K. I've seen him go as low as like 25. He's fun, but there's really no reason to pick him up. It's also like kind of pointless for me to talk about the different like, you know, badges and like stats of some of these cards because it's the dunker set. Like, you know what they're gonna do. You know what their Hoff badges are. They're gonna boom. That being said, J Rich isn't horrible. He's just very aggressively mid, which means I should like him a lot, but I don't. Then we got Iguodala. Iguodala's going for about 50 to 60K is kind of where he's settled at. Iguodala is very solid. I'm hearing that they put his jump shot on quick, but then I'm hearing other people say it feels the same, so I don't really know, and the database is not providing any additional information on that. Still, one of the best defenders in the game, especially if you're somebody who wants to put him on the point guard and then just let CPU Iguodala go ham. He's very, very good. I wish his tendencies were a little bit better. They're not quite as good as like Cincinnati's Powell and other guys of that nature, but he's an elite defender. He dunks on everybody. Honestly, we've gotten so many wings that it's just like I don't care, like in any way, shape, or form. I really don't care about these wings at all. Then we got JR. I mean, JR is good. It's just an upgraded version of the diamond. If you like the diamond, you'll like JR. If you didn't use the diamond and you can go without JR, it's probably not worth spending 200K on him unless JR is like your favorite player. If you're a big JR fan, then for sure. And I feel the same way about Tatum, by the way. Tatum, like, he's good, but is he worth spending all this MT on? Probably not, realistically. He's good, though. I mean, for sure. Obviously, it's a Opal Tatum. Like, he's got what you need, for sure. I just don't think it's worth spending. Let me clarify something, because I get these comments often when I say a card isn't worth a certain amount of MT. Comments typically come in like, well, what card is worth this amount of MT if every card's not worth it? I should explain a little bit more and clarify, right? When I say a card isn't worth that price, what I'm saying really is like, hey, the market is inflated on this guy. The card's not going to perform at a level where I think 300K is worth spending on this card at this point in the year. The reason you don't hear me say these things in like, you know, May is because every card's good, so you really just want to use the players that you want to use. Now, I don't personally think Tatum is justified in being 300K. But if you're a huge fan of Jason Tatum, if you just want like an elite level Tatum, you're a Celtics fan, you just want to use somebody who's like outside of the grid that no one else is using, sure, by all means, spend the MT on Tatum. His price will probably hold for a little bit, being that it's Tatum and he's a popular NBA player. So, you know, it is what it is. But if you're just looking at it from like, I'm going to pick up a card that is going to improve my team, should I spend 300K on this card? I would say probably not, personally. Then we got Zion. Zion is cracked for sure. Once again, though, I feel like a lot of these cards are kind of guided by hype. Like, for the majority of the player base, is Zion Williamson at the small forward going to provide you an extremely clear upgrade? Depending on how you play, majority of the time I would say no. Like, the reason I say that, if you can take advantage of his dribble moves, you can take advantage of that O'Shea Brissett release on quick, then yeah, you'll obviously be able to thrive with him. But I mean, if you're gonna run Zion as like a backdoor cutting 3-and-D wing, then there is no point in spending like 600k on this card, is what I'll say. Like, looking back at the flash forward set, it is just crazy that we got this kind of mid underwhelming set after getting easily the best set this year, possibly one of the best sets of all time. Like, it's wild. Yes, granted, majority of the people in this set look like they're angry that the green M&M isn't sexy anymore, but still, it's so wild to me that this set is so much better. Like, if you're gonna spend 300k on a small forward, it better be Dissinger. Like, it better not be Tatum, you know what I mean? From a pure usability standpoint, that's probably your best bet. Mikan's actually gone up in price because we received no big men. I'm gonna be real here. I'm getting really tired of not receiving any budget level big men. Come on, man. The two cards that are the most lacking, not even just in the budget capacity, but as a whole, are centers and point guards. Like, they're gatekeeping those bad boys hard for sure. And that means we're probably going to get some cracked ones coming in the near future, but I just need some more budget guys. Like, yeah, we got JoJo White and Bob Cousy last week, and I guess Wayne Embry, 6'8", no one's playing him at center, but like, we just need some more options. These are wee little guys, man. I'm not saying we need 6'10" point guards for a budget out here, but just a nice 6'5", 6'6" guy. Like, that's it, just like a diamond, like a Jalen Green or something. It would be just perfectly fine. Maybe an upgraded Sean Livingston, something of that nature would just be great at this point. Now, this set cost absolutely no cards to go down in price, like, at all. I mean, if anything, we've seen majority of cards go up in price. Like, even like Luol Deng is up in price now because everyone realized that all the budget cards in this set suck. So people just either like didn't have Luol before and picked him up, or just decided, you know what, I'm picking up Luol Deng just for fun. 28k, sure, let's pick up Luol Deng at that point. I don't even care. I've been waiting to pick him up anyway, so that's fine. But cards realistically have just gone up in price for the most part. There are certain cards that are a lot cheaper, like the recycled assets are cheaper, like Grant Hill is way cheaper. I should have probably just picked up Grant Hill instead of Luol Deng, honestly. They probably are going to do the same thing for my team, and Grant Hill is even cheaper. Now, that being said, Grant Hill for his price, same with Luol Deng, very, very good cards. I mean, I was seeing Grant Hills go for like 25k earlier, and he's still super usable. I will say, badge count kind of disappointing. His jump shot's not the greatest, but for 25k, I mean, you could do a lot worse. For sure. Richie Guerin's up there in like the you could do a lot worse category too. Cincinnati's Powell's price has gone up a little bit too. He was trolling at like 30k the other day, and now he's a bit closer to like 40. I expect this card over the next few days to probably go up in price quite a bit. I'm actually going to sell my Cincinnati's Powell once he gets back above 50. I'm not a huge fan of him personally. I think he's good in the right hands, but I cannot seem to time his jump shot properly to save my life. So that's what's up. Looking at the Pioneer set, Amari Stoudemire, very expensive now. If you have him or DeJounte Murray, you're about to cash out because people are very close to being able to get Tim Thomas now, and those two cards are rare. Specifically, those two cards. DeMar DeRozan, also rare. Please jump in the comments down below, by the way, if you're aware if they're auctionable or non-auctionable. I'm assuming they're non-auctionable. I've seen some people say on Twitter that they are non-auctionable, but you're able to swap them out of your collection. And based on how many are on the market, I would say it's probably likely that they're not auctionable, though I could be wrong, so I'm not going to say one way or the other. But yeah, Kareem, I'm surprised his price didn't really go up as much as I anticipated, but he is starting to get pretty rare on the market here, so it's possible that his price will rise a little bit. This Kareem's like 14k because you can get him in the token market, but Kelly Oubre Jr., not a lot of Kelly Oubres out here as well. He's only about 9,000 though. What about the homie Duncan Robinson? He's about 9K as well. What about this Kareem? This Kareem, about 7. So, I mean, it's still costing you a good amount for Tim Thomas. Also, can we talk about how there's not been another lock-in since Tim Thomas? Like, every single lock-in is tokens, and the tokens do nothing. Why is this a thing? I just don't understand it. Ricky Davis is getting cheap as well. Then again, you can just get him from playing clutch time offline if you really feel like doing that. It does sound like kind of a pain. I don't really like doing it, but I do it every season for some reason. Penny Hardaway will be cheap in the near future as well, because you get Penny Hardaway from playing co-op, 50 wins in co-op. You get Penny Hardaway, so he'll be kind of cheap. People will sell their pennies because they're going to get one non-auctionable, so there's that. Or they're just going to use it for like a Hoff badge exchange, probably is what majority of people are going to do, because anybody who has Penny probably badged him up. And then Akeem Olajuwon is in Clutch Time Online. I don't think anybody has that one yet, but soon, very soon. Now, that being said, there is some potential that we're going to get some decent cards through this Lunar New Year event. I'm still concerned about the event, I'll be honest about it, but it's possible we could get some good cards. I mean, who knows? I'm not really sure. Yee's coming out at some point. I'm sure there'll be something wrong with him, though. Like, I'm pretty convinced, actually, because he's a free reward card. So, it's possible we get some decent little cards, though. I mean, in this set, we ended up getting some decent cards. Like, Jaren Jackson's, like, the no money spent Sweat Lord godsend, realistically. Same with Stockton and Bradley Beal and Glenn Rice. So, I would assume that we're going to get some guys like Marion's kind of man, but we'll get some new cards coming in. So my recommendation, just unless you really want a card, don't spend any MTU. Also, these, like, Joe Smith's kind of good, Mike Conley sucks, and you can lock in for relatively cheap. Look at, shout out to Terry Porter, dude. He looks so old. That's crazy. We haven't got a Terry Porter in a while, so that's what's up. I'll probably pick him up at some point. I'm not even gonna do the lock in. I just want Terry Porter. But Sapphires are actually the cheap ones now, or not the cheap ones, the expensive ones now. Is this CJ Miles? I didn't even realize he was in here. That's what's up. Yep, that is Lakers Karl Malone. Yes, it is. Either way, man, if you have any of these cards, especially at the Sapphire level, just get rid of them. They're super expensive unless you're locking in. They're only going to go down in price, so there's no point. Like, I know you don't want to hold on to Sam Mitchell, man. Just go ahead and look at my man Ruben Patterson out here. I shouldn't say my man Ruben Patterson. That's a bad thing to say. He is a very bad person. Straight up. Not my man. Not my man. Do not mess with him and his past actions. But he is looking like, I know he's doing a celebration, by the way, before you say anything. Like, I know he's like, yes, but he looks like he's trying to run a fade on somebody 100%. Probably in the jail yard scuffle, being that that's what, you know, his life is like at this current moment. So, anyways, do what you want to do. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just here to provide helpful hints. As always, it's been your friend Cheap Ludes. Please do not lock in for Mike Conley. Regardless what you do, look at my man, Doug Collins, the drip god. Just don't. Look at that. You see that's a flawless 10 Kermit Washington. Anyways, I really wouldn't lock in for any of these cards. Joe Smith seems to be okay, but we get a new wing every 5 minutes in this game, so it's really kind of inconsequential that he's even good, because we'll have a new wing by next week. That's better. Same thing that happened to Harrison Barnes. It's like, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But do what you gotta do. Let me know what you think of the cards. Is there anyone that's slept on? Anyone that you think is particularly slept on? Like, oh, I really love this Sapphire Emmanuel quickly for triple threat. Just anything like that, jump in the comments down below. I got a flawless Keith Van Horn, so you know what it is. Peace.